I see some black men in my comments are upset and angry that me, a black woman and a black mother, would tell my black son that when it's time for him to get married, he is to find a black woman, born again, and profess his love for her, provide for her, protect her, pay all of her bills, just like your grandfather did for your grandmama and your daddy is doing for me. You will do the same for this black girl, because black girls, we unite. I don't understand why y'all upset, because them other people, the untouchables, them other people that he will be going to high school with all the way up in the mountains, they tell their children to marry other people's children in their community so they can keep their money in their community and better their community. Yeah, we're always talking about the black community. Oh, we don't have this and we don't have that and we don't have this. Well, my husband is investing a lot of money in our black son. He's supposed to be president and all. So why not find a black woman and marry her and protect her and profess and love her? What's wrong with black women? We are great. We're beautiful. We're great.
Okay, so she made a lot of good, valid points. There is a lot that I would like to cover in this video in such a short period of time. Now, as you guys just heard, she told her black son that he is to marry a black woman. He is to provide, protect, and pay them bills. All right. So I want to talk about that. And it also poses the question that I have for you guys. Like, what are your thoughts on what she told her black son? Now, keep in mind, this is a black woman. This is a black mother. This is a black wife. She is raising black children. All right. And she did make a good, valid point about other groups of people, which is very true. Just go look up the statistics. All right. Matter of fact, just go out into the world and look around. Other groups of people, or all groups, black, everybody, most people tend to marry within their own group. That's a fact. That is a fact. Yes, you have a lot of people who are marrying outside of their group. Yes, you do. But overwhelmingly, the majority of people marry within. And there's nothing wrong with that if you choose to do that. And there's nothing wrong with if you choose to, go outside the group because that's what you choose to do. That's on you. You got to live with that. But the reason why I wanted to have this conversation is because I think it's a very good conversation. And I think that attached to this particular conversation is a lot of lies and a lot of half-truths, right? And the reason why I say there's a lot of lies and a lot of half-truths is because on one hand, you hear people talking about, oh, I want a traditional woman. I don't want a modern woman. These modern women are X, Y, and Z. And then you start talking about them traditional men paying them bills and them working, going to work, getting up, going to work every day. And see, when you go to that, it's like, oh, wait a minute. I'm traditional, but I ain't traditional like that. I don't want to pay your bills. I don't want to provide. I don't want to protect. So, we really need to have this conversation because there are a lot of half-truths. There are a lot of lies out there. And this has been going on for quite some time. So you guys hold on. I'm gonna, we're gonna go through everything one by one. I want to lay out everything nice and neat for you guys. And then I want you guys feedback. Okay, so let's address the first part of the video. So she starts out the video saying that she told her black son that he is to marry a black woman, provide, protect, and pay them bills. All right. Then she goes on to give us some family history about how his father, her son's father, is paying their bills and taking care of her, his mother, how his grandfather did the same. So that within itself is tradition. That's number one. That within itself is what so many people say that they want. They want a traditional way of life. They want to go back to the traditional woman, but they don't want those traditional responsibilities. All right. My next thing with that also is, so everywhere you turn, when you're asking people or having the conversation about what's wrong with the black community, there are a host of many different things that'll come up, right? You'll hear people say, there's a baby mama epidemic. You'll hear people say that there's a crime epidemic. You'll hear people say that there's a divide within the black community. You'll hear people say that, there's a lack of black wealth, there's a lack of black community, there's a lack of, leaders. You'll hear all these many, many, many different things, right? But if I had to choose, I would say the top three that you're going to hear is people talk about the black family, aka black man, black woman, black child, aka marriage. Another top thing in the top three that I would name is community wealth or group wealth. You hear people talk about that, right? And then another major big thing is, it could be like religion, or um, it could be politics, right? So you'll hear people talk about all these different things as a problem, but is this woman not providing solutions to what many say is the problem? Is she not, basically pushing quote unquote black love, quote unquote marriage? Is she not teaching her son to be a husband and not a baby daddy? Is she not teaching her son to build wealth, group wealth? Because that's what we say the problem is. We say the problem is that nobody's building group wealth. Is she not also teaching her son to be committed to one woman and provide, be a man, aka provide and protect? That comes with manhood. Protect your family, provide. So the things that we say are missing, and is the problem, is the very solutions that she's giving by telling her black son to marry a black woman. So what's the problem? Why did she say she have black men in her comment section mad, upset? Well, I'm going to tell you what I think it is. Okay, so for those men that were in her comment section talking about, how they were upset with her for, her telling her son to not just date, but marry, protect, and provide for a black woman, I thought to myself, why would they be mad? Because it seems to me that she's providing very valid solutions. If she's raising a son who is, she said they're raising a son to be the next president. So I take it that, this son that they're raising is, has, great education, they're raising him to be righteous, so on and so forth. So I'm assuming that they're also teaching him how to vet. And also, when it comes time, he is to also find a righteous, loving black woman. All right. She didn't just say go out there and get any woman. And I know I'm going to have some people in the comment section talking about, see, because you got, no. If she's teaching him to be a righteous man, she's probably teaching him to seek out righteous women that have, some of the same beliefs that he does or that the family has. All right. So we're not going to play silly. All right. In the comment section with this. But I say that to say that, the reason why, and this is just what my opinion, I'm not saying that I'm right, but this is my opinion because I've thought about it. And what I've come to realize is that the only reason why I could see anybody being mad with that is because there is some indoctrination going on here. All right. You have some black people that have been taught to hate and or dislike their blackness and the blackness of others. They do not see value in black women because of it. Right? This has nothing to do with, the extreme cases that we see online. Because if you want to be honest, there are way more extreme cases of black men than there are women. Every other day, you see a black man on TV going to jail because he didn't took out another black man every day, or he did something to a child, or every day. So we're not gonna talk about the image. We not gonna. I don't do the competition over here. I don't do the competing over here. We're not gonna talk about that. But the facts are, there are many people who did not learn or were not taught to love their blackness. And there are many people who were lied to. We were lied to, and I'll give you a perfect example. Black people for so long have been lied to, right? We have been lied to and we have been bamboozled. and we have been lied to by each other. All right. So I'm going to give you some examples of this, right? The best example that I can think of is Eldridge Cleaver. All right. For those of you guys who do not know that name, he was one of the leaders of the Black Panther Party, right? He was one of the faces of the Black Panther Party. And black men esteem Eldridge Cleaver to be this great, black leader of the civil rights during the civil rights era, right? He was a part of the Black Panther Party. So because he was a part of the Black Panther Party, that means he was out here teaching the black people to love themselves and to love, their history and to get to know your history, so on and so forth, right? That's symbolic, to be honest, because after you really start getting into a lot of the depth of what was going on back then, you'll find that there was a lot of lies told. There was a lot of half truths. There was a lot of deception. All right. And the reason why I say that is because what we don't hear a lot of people talk about when we're talking about Eldridge Cleaver is the book that he wrote called Soul on Ice. And you guys, some of the stuff that he wrote in this book as it relates to black men and their lust for white women, as it relates to black men and the beauty standard and why black men think the way that they do, as it relates to their disdain for black women, is in this book. When I found that out, you guys, I could not believe it. It was to the point where I had to order the book myself and read it for myself. I didn't want to read the digital because I'm like, well, if I read the digital, then, anybody can change it. I'm going to order a hard copy myself and read it. And that's exactly what I did. And when I heard some of the words that this man spoke in this book, I could not believe it. It was at that moment where I realized I had been bamboozled and lied to. Because here I am thinking that this man, this pro-black man, loves black women, have loved black women all his life. Here I am thinking that, this black man fought and did all of this for the black community, and all this, not knowing, that he had went to jail for rape, not knowing his true feelings and desires for a white woman. All right. And how he explained it wasn't just him, it was black men in general. All right. So let me read you something from the book if you don't believe me. Let me read you a passage from the book. All right. And stay with me because I'm going somewhere with this point. All right. So where is it at? It says, give me a second here. It says, one afternoon when a large group of Negroes was on the prison yard shooting the breeze, I grabbed the floor and posed the question, which did you prefer, white women or black? Some said Japanese women were their favorite. Others said Chinese. Some said European women. Others said Mexican women. They all stated a preference, and they generally freely admitted their dislike for black women. One man said, I don't want nothing black but a Cadillac. One said, if money was black, I wouldn't want none of it. Put in another. I mean, you guys, and this is just the half of it. He goes on to talk about, black liberation and how, black men can find black liberation through the womb of a white woman. I mean, I just couldn't believe it. But it's all in here. If you don't believe me, go purchase your own copy. It's there. And you'll have some people online that'll argue and say, oh, well, he was just writing that because, see, that was at that time. But see, when he had got out of prison and see, his mind had gotten renewed. See, kind of like the whole Malcolm X thing, the whole Malcolm X where he was dating the white women. And then, when he got out of prison, he was a whole renewed man and all that. Okay, cool. But at the end of the day, what I realized is that, that may be very much well and true, but it still does not change the fact that while he was sitting up in jail, the mindset and the mentality of many of the black men who were in jail with him about their disdain and their dislike for black women All of them didn't get renewed. Some of them, got out of jail and went on with their life, and they didn't change their life around. Their minds didn't become renewed. So when we think about what's going on right now today in the black community and why there's a divide, this shit goes back to the 60s. And so can't nobody tell me that, oh, well, this is new. No, it ain't new. This is not new. The stuff that we see going on between black men and black women have been going on for decades. Like I said, I just read a direct quote out of the book written by Eldridge Cleaver, a former Black Panther Party member, one of the top members, the face of the Black Panther Party. When you Google Black Panther, his face pops up. What are we talking about here? That's why they have an issue with it. When he goes on in this book, I wish I could find it, where he talks about, because he's said that, and he goes on to talk about how he wanted to find why black men thought the way that they thought. And he came to the conclusion that they had been indoctrinated. And again, this is the whole blame it on the white man, whatever. Okay, yeah, you might have could have did that 100 years ago, but you're not going to convince me that right now in 2023, that with all the resources that we have now, with all the quote unquote pro-black channels and podcasts and this, that, and the third that we have now, that this mess is still going on. We still blaming the white man. Like, I get it. White supremacy and racism exist. I get it. It's systemic. I get all of that. But one thing y'all not going to convince me is that black folks is stupid, because that's one thing that we not. That's one thing that we not. We ain't stupid. We not a group of stupid people. We are very smart. Yeah, some of us may be challenged, but not all of us. So you're not finna convince me that we don't see what's really going on out here. No, we see it, but we are denying it because you got a lot of people that want to put forth their own agendas, their own interests. It's symbolic. You talk black, but behind closed doors, you're doing something different. So, like I said, if I was to think of why these men were mad, it has a lot to do with what I just went over. The lies, the half-truths. Because these same group of men, if she was talking about her telling that to her black daughter, they would be on board. It would be claps. It would be praises, and you the best mom. If she's sitting up here talking about teaching her black daughter how to be a wife because she's a wife, because she's married, if she's sitting up here teaching her daughter how to be feminine, nobody would have a problem with that. Nobody would say, oh, don't do that. No. The problem is when she starts to teach her son to be like his father, a man that's in the house, that's there, that's taking care of business. I know many of us don't know what that feel like and what that is, but many of us do. And it's completely natural to teach a son to be like his father, a provider, to be like his father, a husband, to be like his father, a wealth builder, to be like his father, a community builder, to be like his father, a, collective group builder. There's nothing wrong with teaching that, because she's teaching her son to be like his father, the man she married. That's what you're supposed to do. But see, some of us don't know about that. We don't know about that. And that's okay. I get it. There are many reasons as to why that is. So I'm not going to get into all of that. But yeah, that's what it is. We say we want to build black wealth. We say we need to, build up the community. We need to stop putting out these baby mamas and stop, doing all of this. We say all of these different things, but when it really come down to it, we really don't want that. When it really come down to it, we really don't, because it sound good. It's symbolic. We think it make us look cool. So we should be teaching our children in general, all children, regardless of gender or race, to love themselves. be so in love with themselves that they only want to provide the very best to themselves. That means the best mate for them. We are all individually different. What I may need as a woman could be completely different than what the next woman may think that she needs for her and what she's doing and her goals. But because I love myself, and I love myself so deeply, the person that I would choose for me is a person that I believe will reflect the love that I have for myself, right? And I feel like that's what we should teach. When you love yourself very deeply, you only want the best. You want the person that's going to provide the best for whatever your goals, whatever you have going on for you. That could be religiously, that could be politically, that could be, spiritually, it could be, whatever. But when you teach a child to love the very best of them, they are not going to have any choice but to love, their blackness if they're black, their hair, their skin, the way that they look, those who look like them, those who may be different, come from different backgrounds, they may learn to appreciate. You'll be surprised, but see, we don't see a lot of that because a lot of times in this day and time, people are taught to love whatever is on TV, whatever is on social media, whatever could get them the most money, whatever, appears to be the best of whatever. No, love yourself. If you are in tech and you're a nerd, you love that part of you because that part of you will 9 times out of 10 bring you around people or bring you in the company of those who probably think like you. Y'all have some of the same interests, so on and so forth. That has been my experience. But that's all I have for you guys. I'm done with this topic. You guys get down in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think? Is this a conversation that parents should have with their kids? Like, is this something that should be taught? Is this something that can provide solutions to some of the problems that are going on? Obviously, there's no one solution that's going to cover everything. Again, we are smart people. We're smart. Remember that. We're smart. Some of us are challenged, but we smart. All right. There's a lot of stuff that we've done and created and that we're doing that makes us smart. We are smart people. All right. So we're not going to, just paint a whole brush. Obviously, I'm not saying that what she said is going to clear every single thing in the black community. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is some of the main things that we sit up and talk about are the issue. She's actually providing some of the solutions to them. That's all I'm saying. Again, I could be wrong, but I am interested to know what your thoughts are. Please be respectful. If you cannot have a respectful conversation, you will be blocked and deleted. All right? Because I know this conversation can go all whichever kind of ways. Because I know us. I know how we do it. So that's all I have. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. And if you're interested in sending content ideas to me, the things that you want me to talk about, anything like that, you're more than welcome to do so. You can send them to coldblackfacts@gmail.com. I will put that in the description link as well. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to comment.